911, operator 901. Where's the emergency?
127 Brymere.
Okay, what's going on there?
I'd like to order a pizza for delivery.
Ma'am, you've reached 911. This is an emergency line.
Large with half pepperoni, half mushrooms.
You know you've called 911. This is an emergency
Do you
line.
know how long it'll be?
Okay, ma'am, is everything okay over there? Do you have an emergency or not?
Yes.
And you're unable to talk because...
Right.
Is there someone in the room with you? Just say yes or no.
Yes.
Okay, it looks like I have an officer about a mile from your location. Are there any weapons in your house?
No.
Can you stay on the phone with me?
No. See you soon. Thank you.
What are the residual effects on police officers after responding to a dispatch concerning domestic abuse?
I guess it really truly depends on the situation. There could be a situation where there's kids there, kids present. I guess more of it's feeling of frustration that these kids see many times mom and dad acting this way toward each other. You get the concern feeling of maybe these kids are going to pick this up and think this is the way that my boyfriend or girlfriend is supposed to treat me, maybe in the future. It's really a concern that the cycle will continue from there. There's also, I felt a feeling of anger. You know, you go to a situation and it's not always the man against the woman, but most times it is. But you get the situation of maybe a small framed woman who gets beat up by a bigger man, and you're thinking to yourself, just anger, like, how could you do this? How could you treat this person who you say you love like this? And it's just like, just really angry and frustrated that that's happening. And then I guess one of the other feelings I have is confusion as to how did this turn into this? How did this supposed we love each other turn into an abusive situation, and how did it progress?
How often do you receive a call involving domestic abuse?
Calls involving domestic abuse are actually pretty frequent. Just in the city of Midland last year, and I had to look at some of the statistics with this, we took just under 200 calls of domestic abuse situations. This isn't just boyfriend-girlfriend got into an argument. This is where a situation where it turned into a physical altercation. So in the city of Midland, not including the county, just in the city of Midland last year, we took just under 200 domestic violence calls.
What is the protocol when you receive a domestic abuse call?
As far as the law enforcement approach, when we receive a call, any call is something that obviously we have to go to and investigate. But with domestic calls, there's the concern of wondering, are there weapons involved? What is the violent action? Is it an assault with the hands, or is there more? And many times, and as you can imagine, those situations there's a lot more emotions, because now you've got two people who care for each other, or you would think care for each other. And many times when you get there, if there's been a domestic violence issue where somebody has assaulted the other party, the laws in Michigan state that the police shall arrest. Not that we can if we want to or whatever. It says if we have information that leads us to believe that an assault took place, that the aggressor of that behavior is arrested. Now that's many times not always the happiest outcome for all parties involved. Maybe the person who did receive the abuse, the victim, they might not be very happy because now you're taking their husband, their boyfriend, their significant other to jail. And then the other frustrating part of that is sometimes there's kids that are present to see this, and they don't rationalize that, hey, dad broke the law. They just see the police are taking my dad away in handcuffs, and they don't know if they're ever going to see him again. So that's part of our protocol. Once the arrest has been made, you offer information to the victim, basically victim rights stuff, You provide them information on a shelter house and ways to try to get out of the situation.
Would you feel comfortable sharing a story of something that happened, something that you did and it changed somebody's life?
I can share a story maybe that not only changed somebody's life, but actually kind of changed some of my outlook on it. It's probably around 10 years ago. I responded to an assault complaint. Neighbors had called because a young lady had came over to the house and was crying, and they felt maybe something had happened. And when I arrived, I encountered a young woman who was just sitting on the ground crying in the corner of the kitchen of the neighbor's house. I was able to speak with her, basically sat down on the floor beside her, started talking with her. She really didn't want to share information with me because she was in a situation, I truly believe, that was, she'd kind of been in that brainwashed state where she didn't have an outlet. She didn't have somebody, she didn't have people she felt like she could turn to because her significant other had taken us all away from her, in the systematic breakdown of her connections, her help network, if you will. I was able to sit down and talk with her and to find out that she was being mistreated at home and there had been an abusive situation that had taken place and that she had been assaulted that night. And I was able to make contact then with the suspect. The suspect was pretty evasive, whatever, didn't really want to answer questions, but there was enough information to lead me to believe that an assault had taken place. The suspect was arrested for that. The victim was very concerned that that this was her life was going to be over because of this, and I kind of just explained to her, tried to give her information and so on and so forth. And as a police officer, many times that's the last time we see these people. We don't get to see how it turned out unless we get called back there for another domestic, or something to that case. It was probably 3 or 4 months down the road, maybe even longer than that. This woman came into the law enforcement center in the police department, and she didn't remember my name, she didn't remember who I was or anything to that effect. And I wasn't working that day. It was our secretary up front, but the woman came in and inquired about who the officer was that had come to her house that day. That the help that she had received had changed her life. She'd gotten out of that situation and things were so much better. And she didn't remember the officer's name, but she wanted to thank them. Well, the secretary didn't know for sure either, but we had trading cards that had our pictures all on them, and she laid out all the trading cards of the officers. And it was very touching. The secretary said that she instantly looked through, saw the picture, picked up my picture, and put it up to her chest and give it a hug almost type deal. So when that was shared by the secretary, it was very, very touching because we don't usually get to see, the aftermath or get the feel good side of it. So it kind of gives you a new perspective on, hey, some of the things, some of the contacts, some of the things that I've done have made a difference. I guess my main thought is if somebody's abusing you, if somebody's hitting you, pushing you, kicking you, if they're saying they love you, they're not showing they love you. You deserve much better than that. And as a respect for yourself, as a respect for maybe if kids are involved, just knowing and believing in yourself that you deserve better, get out. I'm Officer Jeremy Davis with the City of Midland Police Department. I've been a police officer for about 12 years. The last 5 I've served as a school resource officer at Midland High.
No more, it's none of my business.
No more, I'm sure they'll work it out.
No more, boys will be boys.
No more, I'll say something next time.
No more, why didn't she tell anyone?
No more, she was flirting with him.
No more, she's too smart to let that happen.
No more, not my problem.
No more, he didn't mean it.
No more, why doesn't she just leave?
No more, he said he was sorry.
No more, she was drunk.
No more, she was asking for it.
No more, she seems just fine to me. No more, she should have been more careful.
No more, we don't talk about that.
No more bystanding.
No more ignorance.
No more excuses.
No more.
No more.
No more.